Well, welcome back to Factorio MSX Gigabase. We've obviously finished Worker Robot Speed 13, and I have been running around the factory attending to little details. The last one that I was attending to was I have boosted up the number of robots here to 400, and 400 up here as well because there weren't enough. Let's just have a quick look at science. Let's have a look at science this way first. Over a minute you can see that all of the sciences are basically 6K constantly in their consumption. Now they're not 6K in their production, so what obviously happens is we are running down the buffered stock, and as we do, they're slowly having to increase. I can show you that, not on these so much, but over here, for example. So you can see that the robots are picking up from certain supply chests, and there are others that are just sitting full. Eventually what will happen is the production from these ones will not be enough, and they have to spread out further until they eventually go to all of them, and at that point our production will kick up to maximum. Now, speaking of production, just get out a map view because that might give us a little bit of UPS back, which is really hurting at the moment. But speaking of production, what are we doing? 200,000 iron ore a minute, 114,000 copper, 121,000 green. Those aren't bad numbers, and yeah, we're getting into 4K for most of these things, but blue seems to be trailing a little bit. And I've also noticed that we have an issue with lube trains. Where's lube? Over here. In that, because we've only got one access, they seem to, well, they like doing this, which I don't like them doing. So I'm going to have to double up the entranceway and give them a proper entrance, which will be fine. So we're going to go over to oil first of all. Am I on board? Yes, I was. We're going to go over to Northeast Oil as the nearest point of contact to fix up that lube passage as our first thing. I will show you what we were working on last time. Last time we were working on blue circuits, which is now finished, all but finished. So we've exhausted in the top one here, we've exhausted all of the old stock. And we have established the providers again for the red and the two green platforms, and it looks like the red supply here is actually dropping quite quickly. Oh no, there's 134,000, so there's an awful lot here. It'll be a while before it needs more red, but that's fine. How's the bots? Possibly could do with some more actually. So that's the top one. The bottom one has almost exhausted the buffer chest reds. So what I did with all of these is I changed them so that they'd pick up from buffer chests, and these blues as well, to drain the blue stock. We've already implemented the greens, and it looks like they're calling more greens. There are some on the way. Red though I haven't re-implemented it for this bottom stack just yet, but it won't be very long. Right, where are we up to? We are just here. So we also seem to have quite a bit of congestion around this point, which is interesting. I don't know how big of an issue it is just yet, but it is interesting. We might have to try and do something about it. Exactly what, I'm not sure. But anyway, we have quite a bit of travelling to do. Oh, the other thing, I was actually a little bit concerned about power. So power, 851,000 solar panels. It's finished dropping it down. 50. So we're able to produce about 51 gigawatts, 50.9 gigawatts. But if you notice, we actually appear to be using more than half of 51 when we're not charging the solar panels. So that is why I'm a little bit concerned. Anyway, where are we? We're here. We have most of the things I think we're likely to need. Maybe I will grab a few more of those because they're always useful. So yeah, this is obviously an issue since we want to be at 60 UPS and we're clearly not. But I do have some plans for that, so don't worry about it just yet. And not least of which will be research. Obviously we're most of the way through what bot research is likely to give us, so that won't be enough. I don't want to go back to the possibility of worker capacity research. That is something that I'm going to try and avoid. Let's get rid of a bit of this trees. So what I want to do basically is put in a proper two-way access here. Oops, why did I open that? So that will be either up there or, yeah, probably that one. So for now, what we need to do probably is to tell this one to go away. Why don't you do a circuit so that this one can come out? When they're both out, I can rip this up and lay down our revision. And hopefully get lube working properly. There you go, the other one is moving. I'll have a sip of my coffee. So this one actually does need to refill, so that will be interesting. Right, let's get rid of all of this. Let's watch out for this train that's coming. And I think I'll use the trusty take out the signals guy. To sort out our passage. And now we can place this one down. Oh, and of course I still haven't fixed up this thing because there have been lots of other things to do, both in Factorio and in the real world as well. So yeah, it's just taken a bit of time to get done. Up here we could add, actually, do we need them? No, it's probably better not to. So we'll have to just raise this up a little bit and ensure that we have, I don't want, because I didn't want the train stopping down here if they couldn't get all the way through. That's basically why I'm doing this, if I didn't make that 100% clear. There we go. So the really fast bots kind of make up for the really slow action otherwise. Oh, we have too much wood now, of course. Let's get rid of a little bit of that. Oh, I moved the good rail, you're there, okay, you can go there instead, And that's convenient. It's about exactly the right location for doing that. And what have we got here? I need it to have that one there, that there, and that hopefully will allow our lube trains to get through. Let's have a look and see where the lube trains actually are. Is that a lube train coming back? It is, and it looked like it had, like it was full. So actually we've got 2 lube trains coming, which is kind of good because there's absolutely no lube there. Let's quickly attend to this thing. Iron 10. Iron 10 is actually starting to run low on space. That only gets rid of half of it. Yeah, let's do that. And this is much better because this guy can get out as soon as he's empty, which won't be very much longer. One would think. Okay, I think we have success there. This is the only location lube is required at, so we can just depart and we'll get rid of this wood when we recover our train into the rubbish up the top here. So I think the next stop is we'll go back and finish off blue like I kind of promised to do between turns, between episodes. Yeah, there should be some bots here to take the wood off me. And back to #PU. Is off we go. Let's just have a look at UPS. So the updates are taking 24. Logistic managers up there, we can't do much about that. Probably can't do too much about the electric network either. My mod every now and then is leaping up, but it's partly because, wow, that's a rather big list. We're going to have to do some analysis on that to see what else we have to do. That hurts. The bigger this list, it makes this process more, so it's good to get rid of some of that. The construction manager, I actually have kind of, I think, figured out what part of the problem is, and we will go about fixing it. What I think the problem is with the construction manager, look how much we get back just turning this off. What I think is the problem with the construction module is because I use the auto deconstruction planner. Let's go to a site that, well, one of these sites that is constantly running a mine out. Of course, none of them are at the moment, but what happens is they say this one empties. It's got a full chest here, and the construction bots have to move that. And I only have 25 construction bots typically in these sites, so 25 bots are trying to move, well, a full one is like 2.4k, so you can have an awful lot of trips and a backlog of construction jobs created when you are trying to clear out the depleted miner plus box passive provider chest. So what I think I will do in future is we'll change this plan to actually are we there yet? Yes, we are. 2, for example, if this was the passive provider, we'll do something like that. There's no need for all of this to be full of ore, and then there'll be a less significant task to drain when or we could even go more aggressive than that, but there'll be a less significant amount to drain by the construction bots, and I think that will help get rid of that 0.4. Obviously we need to do more than just that 0.4 though, because it's 22 and that's like 6 whole microseconds too much, but there is some more that we can do, so that's not going to be such a big deal. Alright, let us get this provider in place for this publisher. I think I've kind of liked putting in one of those guys. So red needs to know what is in the network. Like so, that is set up correctly. Red's reading nothing, so that's got 2 Ps because it's 2 plus. I'm not 100% sure that we need that, but that's what we're using. So if we do that, we can then have our usual trains on the way, less than P. If so, call a red circuit train, and with a bit of luck that won't take long before it realizes we need one, and there you go. This one is probably headed towards processing unit red 2 as required, and when it gets there we'll probably get another one immediately because we will still have a deficit here. And then blue circuits can start ramping up, because obviously this one is all but empty now. In fact, we may need more blue trains. Is that what one of these things is? Who would know? It's a bit big. So I might actually have to put like the iconography. So if you remember, this has the resource ID, so you know the type, the resource, so you know the type of resource each thing represents, and the ID for the priorities. Well, here if we put the resource, you can quickly then see which resources you are short of, so that's kind of what I'm thinking of doing there. And how are we doing for bots here? 900 seems to be okay. It looks like it's kicked off into some action. What about down here? We look like we've started doing something. Let's have a look at blues then. There you go, we're at 9k a minute. It should be able to get up to 11k per minute if it needs to. Let me just see if there's anything obvious with these machines. That just looks like it's going continuously. So, are there any machines that are not, is really the question. That one. It had a pause. And here. Let me go up the top there, have a look what's going on, because obviously we want to make sure, even if it does hurt UPS a little bit, that all of these boxes are able to function continuously, and it's not looking like we're actually getting enough green circuits up here. I suspect we don't actually have enough robots, and as well as that, possibly we actually need to add some robo ports along here for additional charging, maybe. But you can see, oh no, there you go, they're all operating now. This guy is certainly not getting enough. So he's constantly running short of green. Okay, what would happen if you were 1,000 green? The deliver amount is still not, has not really moved, so that's not actually the answer. Do we have no green? Is that what the problem is? We have 10k. All the greens in the middle, so it's the longest trips to deliver up to the top there. I don't think we're always short on bots, but it looks like we are sometimes short on bots. So what I might do is I might just throw some bots at the problem. Let's get another, say, 600, put 300 more in each of the top and bottom. Is that on? No, it's not. Good. We can just wipe out all of those. We can go straight to logistic bots, order in 600, go on, wait for some bots. How goes our science? That's not science. This is science. Pretty much 6k consumption, or 5 seconds it bounces around obviously, so 1 minute, 6k, 6k. Let's go 1 hour. Here's all the sciences, 360, 6k per minute. That's what you want to see. We're clearly doing the amount of science that we need to. We're just not currently replenishing our stock at the rate that we need to. Well, let's have a quick look at all time as well. If you notice, we're halfway to being a true gigabase with iron, and iron's a little bit in front of copper, which is hardly surprising given the disparity between these two. Now, how are we going? Is this stuff, is it being delivered? Yep. Where is the supply train? It's stuck. I'm actually surprised that these guys aren't clearing a little bit more easily at the moment. Why don't you go to coal 5? So, what is the problem here? Space science? Green circuits. Where are you off to? Oil, Southwest 1's coal. I don't actually understand why we're getting so much coal being requested here. We've got a -2. I must have had something slightly wrong. Why don't you go away? Let's see what happens. Supply train. Where are you? That must be it there. Go out of map mode. Get a few UPS back. I'll quickly deal with this while we're about it. So here we are at iron 11. I put in another one of these guys. I think I gave it some power poles as well, so that should sort that out for a bit. Has the supply train been? Yes, it has. Very good. Unless it has dumped a whole lot in here, which it appears to have. Oh, I've got tons on board now anyway. So I wanted to put 300 more in each one of these networks. It's sometimes okay, but not all the time. 50, 100, 150, 200, 250, 300. See if that helps. And I need another 100. Which is there. An interesting observation one could make is that if we were, say, doing 4K science instead of 6K science, then this number would basically translate to 6060. Just thought I'd put that out there. Okay, so you must have had less robots. So I just gave you 300 more. What's this done to blue circuits? Not very much. Because this side has come to a complete halt. Okay, not much I can do about that. So we have 1200 up here, and we have 1000 down there. We need another couple of hundred then. We have a couple of hundred there. Let's just make this 800. That ordered two. No, it's ordered 300. I don't want 300. Turn it off. Put 200 in. Turn it on. What's the supply train doing? It's still on its way back, so that should be fine. Okay, so what else can we do about UPS? Well, let's just have a look at what happens to a outpost after a while. This gaping chasm here is a greatly extended flight path for these bots. If all of this was hard over here, we'd be saving, like, the worst of them are coming from over here, but there's still plenty that are coming from about here. So it's either we'd be saving 50% or more of the journey on the shorter ones, and even a third of the journey for longer ones. So that's a lot of bot trips. We've gone to great lengths to shorten the bot trips in our processing, but not so much in the mining. So how we are going to try and tackle this is by visiting our busier stops, and I think also having 6 platforms is too many. I'm going to cut it back to 4. If that means we can't handle enough trains at the platform, then we probably need more more outposts. And I mean, there's more just up here that we could always head to, so that's not such a big deal. We also need to knock off Iron 6. We're waiting for bots at the moment, aren't we? How is it doing? It's on its way back. Shouldn't be too much longer. I think I'll take this moment to have some coffee. This list seems to have dropped a little bit. What's going on at the low density structures? Low density structure drop. So this one looks like it has no steel at the moment. Is there any steel on the way? No, there is not. Is there steel in the list? It's hard to tell because we can't tell what these are. Is there no steel in... There's no steel there. about Big Bro steel? Big Bro steel is absolutely loaded with steel, so I don't know what the problem is. Let's tell you to go there, see if that makes any difference. No. These guys should have. So it's going to the electric furnace. But if LDS drop 1 is waiting on steel, that's also going to the electric furnace. The priority does have... No, it does not have Big Bro steel. Aha! So we need to edit that. And I don't know what's happened to my symbols here, but we need to add Big Bro steel to this steel. Steel 2 weight. And hopefully that will mean that if these are steel, they can start using these guys. There you go. Fixed. It's a long way, but it's better than we've got no steel going on here. And actually this needs a change because we have too many inserters, and that can save us a little bit of UPS as well. How are we going? We have 100, almost 200, so I'm guessing that we've had the train, yes. And probably all of the... No, there's not anything in there actually. Alright. So that was 200, and we want to make this one down here, this network for the second stack, 200 as well. Well, all of that, say 1288. Blue circuits, 9000, 9.1. Very good. Okay. Right, so purple science. What is purple science missing at this point? It shouldn't be missing engines. Engines are sitting here. So what is purple science actually after? Looks like it is engines. I don't get why it's not getting any. They are sitting here waiting. You're in electric engine wait. Oh, now you've decided to go as well. Odd. There might be something in terms of my efficiencies that I need to put in place, because it seems they're getting a little bit stuck sometimes, but anyway. That one's getting called as well. The only place any of these goes is purple science. Oh well. So that got rid of the first one. Okay, Silo LDS2 is the next request that's sitting there. The silo is this thing. And we seem to have a traffic jam. You probably shouldn't just stop there. I think I'd rather you blocked out here, so I guess we are going to the silo next. So we still haven't finished our second red circuit deployment, which is going to try and fit in here somewhere. I'm a little bit concerned that this is going to be in the way. I'm also concerned about the various entrances and exits, and I think I need to remove design test before I can fit it. So I guess it's probably not going to be something I attempt to do at the moment. So where are we going? We're going to Silo. Yeah, so I think we need to remove this design test one, so this entire thing is not in the way. This is another example of a very long distance between where the bots are trying to deliver things and you know, down here. It probably needs to be sped up as well and pruned down a little bit. It's not going to be here for that much longer. It's only 1.9 million, so that will help. Where are we? We're in a traffic jam. We're in this traffic jam. Alright, well, our train will eventually get to a nice place for us. In the meantime, we're going to have to hoof it. Rather slowly. I really should invest in some paths down the side of these tracks. So the problem is this guy. He is dumb as a doorknob because he's not going down this one. He's decided he must go into this one. That is pretty stupid of him. I think I'd rather he block outside than do this kind of nonsense. So let's change those to chain signals. Let's jump on board. Temporarily we'll make him go manual. Actually, we won't back him up. We'll just move him forward too far to go down there, and then we'll put him back to automatic. And he can't get to silo fuel 1 according to him now. That's kind of ridiculous. What's the problem then? That's a legitimate problem, because only this one actually makes it to the silo fuel. So this one here not getting out is actually what the problem is. And that is caused by this one not getting out, which is caused by this one half getting in. Well, we have fixed the half getting in issue. We know it's not going to work, so let's back it up to that point and then go back to automatic. You are sort of the issue, but not quite. Where are you trying to get to? Traffic jams, I tell ya. Okay, this here is an issue. What's this? We don't want that. That one there should be one of those. And he would never have done this. Can we back this guy up? It would seem the answer is yes. Let's just back him up to there. Get off the track. So, how does that help? Doesn't really. There's only a relatively small gap there, so if we move this one up a little bit, we actually have some action there now. you can now go to automatic. You are automatic already. So what's your issue? Your issue is that one there. Oh, this. Right, well that kind of probably needs to remain as an issue. Let's sort this guy out. Scroll in a bit so we can find it a bit more easily. It is iron 12. It's not really enough. That should do. So we've probably had there you go, 1600 launches now. How's this looking? Speed modules, missing red circuits. That's this side. 12k, yep, fair enough. But we have all these red circuits. I don't get why they are not heading there. Rocket cargo is running low. Alright, that's the satellites. That's this one here. It's got a train on the way. No, rocket cargo is already gone, so that's fine. Oil southwest. Shouldn't have an issue, because it's got this guy. Red circuit 1 unload, RC1U. Not quite sure what that is again. Oh, it's here. RC1U is the... What actually are you asking for? Q, you're asking for green circuits. Well, there's a green circuit on the way. So green circuits would appear to be what the problem is right now. We are using down here now and along here. Not quite all of them here or here, but close. We must be doing a fairly large number of green circuits. It's only 120,000. I wouldn't have thought that was actually an issue for it. There's an awful lot of robots hanging around charging. And there is an open iron request. Which, for all we know, could be this guy. There you go, GC1 iron, it is. And a lot of congestion, which I don't know what to do with. So, yeah, there you go, guys. There is a lot of tweaking still to do. It's not obviously that just we don't have enough red yet. It's not obviously what the issue is, because clearly Clearly we also have issues around this and this whole congestion. I mean, this is obviously an issue, but I've already discussed how, well, clearing congestion is going to help, but this sort of thing will be able to help as well when we shift it all over. Yeah, I'm sure it's going to take a few episodes to get these things working a little bit more smoothly. Oh, good grief, this is getting larger and larger every time we look at it. Is anybody actually short of space science? You are. You've only got 18k. What about you? No, you're fine. At least they're all out of sync with the space science, so it doesn't really matter. We're just waiting for this to fill up. 38 takes 40, I think, with the amount of space we left it. So it shouldn't be that much longer, especially at the rate of launching. There you go, there's 39. So rocket launching there. It's off actually, 40. So I think space science is now flowing appropriately. Is this LDS fixed yet? If you remember way back when we built this, I was wondering whether I actually needed another platform for the goods. We might have to revisit that, because it looks like we have no plastic here now. Yeah, Q's 1, plastic nil. Does that mean there's no plastic here? There is a plastic train waiting. But there is not enough plastic for it to enter yet. Not down there, and up here, not up there either. Actually, we're 50 bots short up here. What about at the other end of the base? There you go, there's a plastic train. So hopefully that one can answer the call of duty. No, it's going to red circuits. So we might not actually have enough plastic happening still. Anyway, guys, you get the general idea. We are trying to work through issues as they crop up, and sort out why we're getting such a large list here. Anyway, that's all we've got time for this episode. Hopefully we can make some progress for the next episode. See you then, guys. Looking forward to it. Bye bye for now.